Hello, and welcome back to the main channel. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. Last time, we finished our construction sector, started building on our railway network, which is going very fast, and started to make some money via an oil industry. I do gotta say, the last part got more attention than I thought it would for a first video in years, and a lot of you gave me a lot of good tips, so I will implement those into future parts. Obviously, one of the bigger tips was that the fuel pumps between, especially this here, is not needed, so you basically can use the loading and unloading station without a pump between the storage. Good to know. I thought remembering that doesn't work. Apparently it does, but I gotta say I want to build a refinery more further away, so this pump might still be very useful, and connecting all of this up without pumps is also basically impossible, so I'm kind of still happy to have them. I would say for the time lapse, I'm just gonna set it up over here, and today's goal will be to finish the basic railway network, build up our resource distribution over here via the railway, and if everything goes well, start building on our city. What I do also want to say about last video, I think I didn't make it too clear. I'm not a min-maxer. I just have a lot of love for this game. I try to share some of the basic knowledge for people who want to start the game, because I do know a lot about the game. So this is how I'm going to play this. I'm not going to min-max. I'm not going to build everything perfectly. I basically plan on building up a good-looking republic together with you and teaching everyone who doesn't know the game how I did one. I just wanted to clarify that, because a lot of pro players have seen my video and some of them were not happy. Yeah, that channel is not about optimization. I'm sorry, it's about having a good time. But yeah, I would say let's start extending over here. So we have a little bit of place to build a basically big cargo station where our trains will go in, offload a lot of goods that our construction offices and future distribution offices can then pick up and bring to different places on the map here, which is very necessary in the long run to kind of prevent this, okay? Like, the buses over here will be replaced by our own population, and all of the cargo transports will be replaced by this over here. So let's do that. And talking about railway, also what could be very, very useful here is a vehicle repair station. These are basically our lifeblood for keeping our vehicles in check. I'm gonna place it here for two reasons. Firstly, it is a good centralized position, and secondly, you might see that two buildings are highlighted by the dots that surround the building, which means that all the vehicles that are inside of those buildings will get automatically repaired. What I won't need is this over here. But yeah, we're now gonna start building on this. I will add a few more storages over here. Could actually combine it with this one here. Actually didn't think about that, but it would actually be cool. So it's actually a good idea. I'm gonna place this here. I'm gonna prepare some forklifts over here. And because I'm building it right now, let me just very quickly explain it. These exits over here that I haven't talked about yet are basically connection ports where you can kind of merge storages with. Because if I connect this warehouse over here like this, the building could automatically drain the warehouse for all the goods it needs. So this is very useful. The problem is when you need more than one warehouse or have limited connections, then you gotta start using factory connection crossings, which are these. And as much as I know, gonna be a new sentence I say, because a lot of people that know more about the game are currently watching, these need forklifts, meaning that the range is not that far and you need some vehicles to basically transport from the one storage to the other. So that's why I also built on a forklift garage. And because I have like limited range, I built like multiple connections here to connect this here and then connect this here. And here I'm gonna place two different kind of storages, because there are different kind of storages. You can actually very much see it over here, where we have open storage for all the building materials and the warehouse for basically, let's call it goods. So over here it's electrical components. In the repair station is also going to be mechanical components. So what we need over here for a big construction and repair operation is firstly an open storage, and secondly a warehouse. And I'm just going to build a bigger one, because bigger storage means more buffer. Might be a bit overkill, but trust me, in this game, doing it right the first time or going a bit overkill is better than regretting it later and needing to deconstruct the entire sector because the first draft wasn't good enough. So yeah, I'm gonna build something like this. Is it perfect? No. But will it work? Yes. And if those forklifts are gonna be a little bit overwhelmed, I'm just gonna build another forklift garage over here. But not for now. We don't need it yet. As for the repair station, why I keep all of this open over here is because we need to repair more than the things we're currently repairing. Because this over here is just a construction office, meaning we can't store any trains here. And currently, we can't repair trains. I mean, we could. We just give them trucks and they drive to wherever we store our trains and then they repair them that way. But those trucks are very limited with repair tools, and that basically takes forever. So what we are going to do is build a long train depot from the beginning over here in the range of the repair facility. And you see it is highlighted. If we go a little bit more aside, it's not, meaning the vehicles inside of this building will be repaired by our repair station. And as always, don't forget at the road. Yes, I know, could use gravel roads. Gravel roads are fine. Some of you wrote that. But personally, as I said, I want to build kind of cool. And I think if I would build a Soviet Old Republic, I would kind of take care of good infrastructure, meaning asphalt. Is it more expensive? Yes, but that's why I gave myself more money, okay? In future challenges, we can actually play real hardcore mode, and then I'm gonna use all of your advice that you have for me. Like, unironically, we can make like a really hard challenge later. There is also a new DLC coming, which would very much invite a very hard challenge because it's an earlier start date, and I would love to play that. It looks actually amazing. The announcement of that DLC literally came out a day after I recorded the first part of the series. So yeah, that's why I didn't mention it, because I didn't know it existed. I'm very much hyped for it. It looked very cool, and the artistic side of my brain just likes trains, okay? So now getting steam locomotives is just the best thing ever happening to this game. Not gonna lie. Bro loves his trains, all I have to say, okay? And looking at our industry, it's actually starting to finishing up. Very cool. Something I haven't really talked about yet, but have shown before, is terrain. Something in an early game you might very much underestimate, but terrain can be very important for building, and leveling terrain is something actually quite important if you want to build a good city. Because if you have like a very uneven area, like over here, where I kind of want to build to, I might need to flatten a lot of this, because building with those height differences might be possible, but it's kind of dreadful. So I do recommend every time you plan like a bigger project to check the terrain map mode first and kind of see, oh, is this flat enough, or do I have to flatten it? But leveling terrain is also not very hard. You just need some doses in the area and you can just flatten terrain. Similar with lowering or rising terrain. For that you need excavators close by, which we do have. This over here is close enough. The important thing is that they're currently not being used. Otherwise you can't do that. If they're currently in a building project, of course you can't use them. But generally speaking, you just need them available and you can easily use this in realistic mode too. As I said, it's a little thing, but I feel like a lot of new players will not think about that. So at least wanted to mention it. It is quite important. And yeah, for now I'm just waiting for all of this to be constructed. So see you soon. You know what? I could just make like a little speed up and show you how all of this is being built. And yes, I know this is not time efficient, but to be honest, this is kind of playthrough to show off the game. So yeah, I don't care about being time efficient. I just want to show in a good order how everything works. And yeah, they're really starting to build the big buildings now. Very good. And I want to show off some of the construction because some of you told me you want to see the construction. So here you go. And once again, big repair station. Is it overkill? Yes. But it's a good permanent solution for our starting area. So I'm fine with it. And later on, because it's going to become very nice, we can even build with the leftover open space heliports for helicopters to repair here too. Meaning we don't even need to think about them being repaired because they'll just automatically fly over here to get repaired. And yes, I think I didn't say this yet, but you see, oh my god, some of our vehicles already have wear and tear 25%. This is way more I thought that it would be. But the standard setting right now is that at 50%, or I guess a little bit over 50%, they will search for a repair station and then repair. And I'm not sure at what percent. I'm just going to say starting like 70, 60%. They will start to break down sometimes and really get less efficient starting 50%. So that's a very good threshold. And this is also a very good moment to build the repair station. Even better, a repair station needs workers. So building it next to our bus station, also not stupid. Actually very good. I'm getting more and more afraid that this will become a permanent solution. Oh no. We'll also get rid of this gas station over here because it's officially empty. And our railway is really getting close to being finished, meaning we can actually get the big construction vehicles. Very good. Our oil industry is also finished. That is amazing. And our fuel tank is filling up. So yeah, we need more trucks. Buying those over here. And something also read in the comments is that I should build a foreign pipeline connection, which I agree with, because then you can just pump stuff over instead of needing trucks to transport it off. Problem being, once again, we play with research, so we don't have that researched yet, meaning we can't do it yet. So yeah, like any fun things, we're not allowed to have them yet. But long term, I totally agree. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work a lot of pipelines. I think at a certain point, we will need so much oil that I will use them even for import instead of just export, because refining oil actually has a very big profit margin, and I'm going to specialize in that for a bit. But more about that later. For now, I would say we wait for this to be done. And then I would actually say we dive into the logistics hub and the city. I know, crazy. You know what? In the background, why I have nothing better to do. I'm just going to order my vehicles to upgrade bit by bit the roads over here. I'm also going to order them to get rid of this road over here so we can build a more decent highway in this area. Construction over here is about to be done. Very good. What we're going to do now, I'm going to buy at least a few of the covered hulls, because basically those are the vehicles that are being used for repairing stuff that is not in range of our repair station, which hopefully will be nothing, but just in case, I like to have a few. On top of that, for our logistics, I'm not going to do anything yet because we will use our storage is over here. And fuel-wise, they can just use our gas station. So I will not reveal those buildings. They can literally just use our gas station. With our construction train over here, it's a bit harder because we don't really have a railway connection here. But all the other buildings, I will not supply them with fuel. They can just drive here and not be lazy. As for my plans over here, I would actually say I'm going to get rid of this entire road over here. By the way, I can't get rid of it all the way over here because there is a dot here, meaning I need to destroy this first. In the game, sometimes weird how to destroy stuff, but yeah, this entire road over here, I will turn it into something I can use better, so get rid of that. Funnily enough, they can't reach it at the moment because we're building a road over here and disconnected that. For this side, I will build a little roundabout here. Can build a bigger one because this is going to be an important highway. This road over here can lock onto that, and these highway roads over here will go on like that. Beautiful. For the long run, I'm going to plan to extend the highway over here. So we're going to build a bridge over here and then have another roundabout here to go into this direction, go into the city again and go like further around the city. So we're going to have like a highway around the city and then down here. Yes, I'm planning big. And no, this is not important for the game. This is just because I like the idea of having a highway around. So I'm going to do this. But generally speaking, you can just build a lot of normal roads. It will not impact your game. I just prefer to play like this because, I don't know, I kind of wrote my bachelor thesis about urban mobility. So there's like this part of my brain which won't allow me to build unrealistic stuff. And let's just say the optimized way to play this game might contradict a little bit how reality works, even in realistic mode. I just can't get myself to not build like this. I'm sorry. I know all the pro players of you are going to be angry, but all the beautiful builders are going to love me for that, okay? So yeah, we're building a highway over here. This is going to be one of the more regional roads where they can drive into the city. And in the city, we're going to build asphalt roads with streetlights, which are basically normal roads, but with higher walking speed because they have a sidewalk. So that is going to be my plan for Vienna. And yes, we're not going to play the optimal way where you're going to build like an entirely new city from the scratch. I feel like the obligation that when we have something like Vienna and we take over basically the land from the people before, we should at least respect the old ways and build around the town and not optimizing building our own city over here and get everyone into that city, which you can do. You can just migrate people into other buildings with those two options here, which is once again a very cheap way to get labor. You don't need to buy it. You can just relocate it if you already have some workers on the map. But yeah, I hope you can respect my playstyle. If it's not for you, I'm very sorry. I just like to play the game in my own unique way a little bit. As I said at the beginning in the first episode, build a little bit beautiful, give myself a little bit more money for that and show off everything I can along the way. So new players can learn the game while I'm playing, and people who like good city concepts can enjoy, I mean, maybe not that, but a good enough city concept. I gotta say, all the comments were like really, really nice. There was maybe like one or two that was a little bit more rough around the edges, but I've done YouTube for quite a while now, so it's not new to me. But yeah, I'm really happy that you want to join me with this journey, and I'm really, really listening to your advice. And jokes aside, I'm really happy for everyone who tries to help me, because this is kind of a shared learning experience. I feel like I'm in a unique position where I know enough about the game that I can explain the game very well in a good edited way, but at the same time, I'm not advanced enough that I know everything. But in a way, once again, it allows me to explain a lot of the things that for some people might be already obvious, but that I very much remember being challenging for me to understand at the beginning of the game. Because some people did ask me, I have like 550 hours in the game, which in this community is considered a beginner. But to be fair, I come out of the Hoi 4 community where 1000 hours is also considered a beginner. So yeah, and please let's not talk about the Europa Universalis. I had a real problem with that game, okay? That was a general addiction before I even became a YouTuber. Anyways, back to autism. For now, I'm also not gonna allow anyone to work in the repair office because I really need the railway to be finished, and it's currently stealing workers. I know I could just tell the workers, by the way, if you didn't know, you can just tell the workers to go into other buildings via this button over here. But I gotta be honest, I also don't want any vehicle to go into here and start being repaired, because there is a cooldown, as much as I know, that when people go into the repair facility and don't get repaired, they basically can't get repaired for another year. That's generally in the game. They can only get repaired once a year. So if they go in with like wear and tear of 60%, get ignored for a few months, then they drive out and they can't get repaired for another year, which is generally bad. So you want the repair station always well supplied with workers and goods, so this can't happen, because there's a little bit of death loop to vehicles if you kind of don't care about that. I just wanted to say it at least once. Once again, you can forget it right after I said it, but it generally is important to know. Also very important right now, our forklift station is done, so I'm going to buy a lot of forklifts. And very important over here, those very much need fuel on site, because they will not drive outside of the garage. I mean, they will, but only on these roads over here, not actual road, so they will never drive to the fuel station. So if you don't drive fuel to them manually, they will never do anything because they don't have fuel. What I did also notice in all of this is that we have some buildings, over here, also the storage, outside of our electricity grid. So I'm gonna build another substation over here, which brings me to something else to Yap, because you kind people told me why it's medium voltage and not low voltage. And I feel embarrassed for not knowing that. Basically, the low voltage is those connections we see here. It's the local connections. The medium voltage is from the power transformer to the substation. So we go from high to medium to low. That makes a lot of sense. And I should have known that because maybe I shouldn't say this, but in university I did learn like renewable energy. So I should very much know stuff about electricity. But to be fair, it was like my weakest point. I was never a good electrical engineer. And while all of this is building, let me rectify a few things you gave me as advice and I already knew, but totally just forgot. That is that you can go over here and click this over here. Deliver mechanisms only with trucks. If you have enough open hull trucks, this is amazing because the asphalt paver, the excavator, the bulldozer are very slow. Like when you see them on the road, they are just traffic jam inducers. But having this selected basically forces them to use one of the open hulls. Basically, they get loaded on there and then driven to where they need to go, which generally speaking is very good. Something else I wanted to do and completely forgot about was traffic signs. Because if you click on a road connection over here, I mean, you can also do it via this here, but preferably, if you click on a road connection, you can just select the road signs and we're gonna do some giveaway. Basically, forcing roundabout rules on our roundabout. I know, crazy. Doing this at every entrance and perfect. So the open storage is built. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna look at what we need. And it looks like we need steel, prefab panels, bricks, and boards. Over here, we need steel and aluminum or aluminium, however you call it. I don't care. Hot tip from my side, especially at the beginning of the game, you will never need aluminium. I think that's for planes later or for helicopters. I'm actually not sure because I haven't played enough around with those two things to know a lot about them. But for repairing cars, trucks, and trains, I will never repair cars because cars are capitalist and would destroy our society. You only need steel. So I'm gonna go into here. I'm gonna limit the amount. You can just double click into here to open the percentage to manually do everything. But that takes actual effort. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold shift and put everything to 0 that we don't need. Like the waste over here, raw wood, and aluminium. And yes, I'm gonna flip between aluminium and aluminum because I respect both ways to call it, okay? It's not because I'm stupid and I'm calling it both ways. No, that would be crazy. I'm just very, very welcoming for all people, okay? But with that code done, I'm just gonna order... Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna build a new distribution office. This is already very much overloaded. And we have like 3 more that we can actively use. So I'm just gonna place one over here, buy 1 covered hull and 2 open ones, and deliver it that way. Meaning in the future, we only really need to deliver gravel to our railway construction office. And I gotta be honest, there's so much storage for gravel. Actually, there's a lot of storage for a lot of things in here. So that's why I didn't build a storage over here for this building. But the repair station has a way smaller storage. You already see it's 2 tons of plastic. And a good comparison here, it has 2.8 tons of electrical components compared to 24.5. Okay, so this building over here doesn't really need storages, but now that we built some, we could actually just use it for that one too. But this building does, very much so. So the train depot is also done. We have electricity over here. So officially, I have no more excuse not to build our logistics hub over here. So for the new players, I will explain everything as good as I can. So you have an easy time rebuilding it. I mean, by now, you should know the drill. I'll try to explain everything so you know what I'm doing. Anyways, highway over here is start being built. Very cool. We do actually have a road connection to over here. So the deconstruction of that can begin. I think, yeah, I never extended the range of that. So they're gonna work on that. The Natural History Museum still looks like, yeah. And our fuel storage is completely full. With the main problem being that I can't bring out more fuel trucks because we already have traffic over here. So my second pet project will be to maybe build a free gas station over here, supply that with gas, and also export into this customs house to have less of a bottleneck. So for money-making reasons, this highway has priority now. And also something I haven't talked about is heating. Oh, we have so much workers here. Okay, I'm actually gonna open. Oh, that is good. Anyways, heating. I haven't talked about it yet because we don't need to care about it yet. Just so you understand, heating in workplaces is really, really important if you care about the people working here. The foreign workers that we pay for are probably not gonna die from one shift of working here. So I'm kind of neglecting all of their needs. It has no water and no sewage. So generally speaking, a lot of people would just die working here. But because we're only importing foreign workers, I don't really care, right? The only thing the building needs to work is fire trucks and electricity. Everything else is health reasons, okay? At least for this building. Meaning that for now, we can just ignore this. Later on, we will very much need garbage logistics, but I would say we get into that once we actually start to build build the city. And we will get into building the city once we genuinely have the logistic hub over here. Yes, it will drag out everything a little bit, I know, but doing it like this and wasting a bit of time, actually a lot of time, just makes it way easier for me to explain the game for you. I know, still joke ongoing, this is not a guide because I don't feel qualified making a guide, but I do feel very much qualified explaining the basics of the game in a certain context where new players might appreciate knowing these things and then can actually watch maybe other videos to learn it a bit better, or just read the comments down here where literal uni professors explain the game to me. Getting explained how electricity works in this game by a real-life electrician is quite a humbling moment, but in a very funny way. I did enjoy it. That feels really cool. That's what I love about YouTube. Community interaction on this platform is just crazy insane and makes this entire experience so much better, and that's why it's my job. And here you go. I'm not sure if I showed it last time, but the destruction of a road basically starts with getting an excavator, and the excavator just basically digging up the entire road and turning the gravel that we used here into construction waste, which we can later on sell, or which we don't have researched yet. That's why we're not doing it. Oh, actually, we can just build a graveling recycling plant. You know what? I will make a dedicated part in another episode for recycling. Then we're gonna talk about all of this. But for now, just know we'll just sell the construction waste over here, making a little bit of money and allowing us to basically rebuild this entire infrastructure over here. Not efficiently, but good looking and working. That's what we're going here on this channel, okay? Mostly the working part. But with all of that yapping done for now, I would say we actually genuinely start planning everything ahead. What I like to do to plan these things through is start with something where I know I need some space and what will be next to it. And in this case, this will 100% be the aggregate storage, because one of the things we will deliver is coal, because we will need coal to run our heating plant. And because this is our current bus station, I would say I'm gonna build the heating plant in this area, which is in the range. Generally speaking, we could just build a road like this and then build our first heating plant like this. Funnily enough, it would solve the fire station not being heated, because it will be directly heated by the heating plant. And then later on, we will run heating pipes down to Vienna and heat the rest via that. Now, as a new player, you might have two questions. Why do you build the heating plant so far away from your population, which is basically the people that need to work there? And how do you distribute the heat? I will go more into detail once we actually do it, but I would like to use this moment to teach one basic, that there's a very important thing in the game, a silent killer called pollution. Pollution is the main enemy in the game that you will not know about until it's too late. That's my general advice. There's different kinds of way to get pollution. There is overflooding sewage. There is bad garbage handling. And there's also your industry. And the indicator for your industry on pollution is over here. This factory produces around 27 tons a year of pollution, which is in the higher category. So your heating plant will be quite a pollution creator and should be far away from any population center. Meaning that if we get our cool measuring tool out here, yeah, this is the German part of the game, I guess, we are around 800 meters away from the closest population center. I think I read online, and correct me if I'm wrong, pro players, 1000 meters / 1 kilometer is a good distance. I know there's also other things like pollution goes into a general direction and blah blah blah, but I gotta be honest, I don't know enough about that to really understand that. Just know that for me, in my playthroughs, this distance works out quite well. How we will deal with getting our people there is a whole other topic. For the beginning, of course, we're gonna use buses, but I do recommend, and we will also get to this once we build up the city, building train stations early and using them to get your people around to your republic, because trains are just so much more efficient, and yes, this is the autistic side of me talking, than any bus. Once again, one of the reasons why I'm preparing our rail network so early. If you want to be more efficient, build this building right next to the custom house and just build a small curve, because then you can immediately get the better railway construction vehicles. But because I knew in this playthrough I will yap a lot and I will have to explain everything one after another, I gave myself some time. So I'm fine with this. And yes, I did something this episode that I didn't do last episode, because I didn't expect so much pro players to watch. I'm explaining my reasoning why I do certain things. I think for new players, it's less important to understand why I'm not doing it more efficiently. So my main priority in the first part was just explain the basics. But for the people who are very seasoned in the game and just love the game, because I also love the game, it is so addicting once you get into it. And I'm really happy that my main profession in life is being jobless and just making YouTube videos, which maybe counts as a job, but it also allows me to play this, so W in chat. No, like, jokes aside, this is 100% a passion project. The channel I'm currently recording this on is not even monetized. I mean, maybe after the first video it will be, but for now, just know that I really do this because I love this game. But talking about hot topics, we had a fire. And our fire station reacted and saved this construction office. It's actually really lucky that we currently had some workers in there, because if it would burn now, we couldn't do anything against it. Amazing. But yeah, that's why a fire station is so important, because we would have lost all of the construction vehicles that were inside of the building if this building would have burned down right now. Like, I'm not even joking. Losing a construction office early game is painful. And that is also the reason why I recommend you to have autosaves on, just in case you need to jump back. I've unironically 10 autosaves now, which does remind me that I should maybe save again. And I do recommend to have a good amount of autosaves just to be ready. I think the game does by default 5, which is more than enough, but especially for a video like this, I like to have 10. And I think this over here is good proof that I'm not jumping back in time to put myself in a better position, because rebuilding this is going to be very expensive, and what we get out of this building is not good. This is one of the worst buildings of its kind, meaning it takes a lot of workers for the amount of people it can serve. Not saying it takes a lot of workers, but meaning that the amount of people that can visit the building is very limited to the people that work there. Like 10 workers means 20 guests, something around that. Horrendous rate. Just build a cinema. You get more people in. Like, jokes aside, this is not a joke. Just build a cinema. But yeah, side tension aside, there's gonna be a lot of those. I'm gonna build a longer cargo train station over here. I'm gonna get myself some space to do all of that, and I'm gonna row under this open cargo stations. Okay, that doesn't work very well. This looks horrendous. This looks generally really bad. This is so off. Okay, I see it a bit. I'm gonna try to build this actually good. I want to get 4 open storages in there, and then I see you again. Bam, there you go. Kind of symmetrical, works very well. We just need to keep this open so we can generally build this train station, but that's a lot of open cargo, and it should be an amazing supply up. I'm also going to build more infrastructure down here later, so this will not all be on this road. Maybe even make this a one-way road so they can go in and then go out. But yeah, this should work very well. Right after that, over here, as already announced, I'm going to prepare an aggregate storage, and I'm going to get myself one of those conveyor belts over here, which I will explain in a second. I think actually this is a very, very good position for that one, which allow us to automatically, just using electricity, transport aggregates from one building to another. Meaning that if this storage over here is coal, it will be transported through this to the other building. And yes, can also just do a direct connection. It's perfectly fine. So if I would do something like this would also work. But just like I said earlier with the oil pumps, this allows me to have a bit more options later from the same direction. So I can supply multiple heat plants, because we will need more than one later on. But that's a problem for future Florius. Right now, Florius will have to get a road done over here, which doesn't matter of what kind. There you go. Next, I'm going to build a second storage farm, and we're going to build an loading station. Let's say over here. I want to get it locked on, so it also is part of the aggregate. Very good. And this is going to be gravel. By the way, we don't need this one, because I'm also going to import gravel for the beginning. I know you can very easily produce it yourself, but in my opinion, gravel is so cheap. I'm just going to buy it for the beginning, which could bring me to a slight ideological tension in this game, where there's 2 approaches. With the first approach, very, very unpopular, making sufficient currency of your choice to import the goods you don't want to produce, or produce everything yourself to kind of fight inflation over time and become 100% autark. In my opinion, very, very wild take, both is fine. And I live this to a degree where I genuinely do both. Especially at the beginning, I go very much into money, and then later on, when I feel like, okay, I make good money, I'll try to become more and more autark. Because around the end date of the game, prices will crash a little bit, and at that point, if you're not self-sufficient, it is a little bit harder to do everything. But until then, you can make good money with a lot of goods, especially with some goods from the west, and you can sell it to the east. Very, very good. But for now, just see this as a few words I'll throw around, and as a preparation for later. I just want to teach you a little bit about how does this work, why does it work, why do we need it, and for now I'm just basically scraping the basics, and I will go more into detail once we get to the different storages and once we get to the different stuff like heating. If you don't understand how it works yet, that's totally fine. You can ask me in the comments. I will generally say it again in another episode, but for now the logic is that we have a train will go into here, load all the goods we want, we'll come back, and then one by one go through the storages and load the stuff off, and then go back in and then do that again. Later on, we can use a distribution office for that, because there's also distribution offices for trains later. Once again, a legend as old as time, we don't have it researched. So we have to do it the hard way, which means a very long train. The best way. I love long trains. Open storages and general storages need a cargo station, which we have here. This over here, the aggregate storage, needs something else. This is a little bit hard to spot if you don't know where to search, because you might think, oh, I'm gonna go to railway. No, there's no storage stuff over here. You have to go not to general cargo, but to aggregate. Then you go to unloading train. I'm just gonna go with something simple, which is this over here. Gonna turn around so you see it very good. Kind of parallel to the railway, and build it like this. Why do I build it like this? Because this allows me to also build a road here, because like any other things, needs a road connection to be built. Welcome to realistic mode. And we're gonna hook this up like that. Very beautiful. And we do something similar down the line here. Maybe even embrace the curve we are about to take like this. Hook this up like that. Beautiful. Railway, this. Beautiful. And you get the road connection. And now we're only missing one cargo, and that is general cargo. I would would say, because we already have this big cargo station over here, I'm just gonna build an enormous storehouse over here. And because we are well-mannered cargo people, I'm even gonna build a road cargo station over here. Good. I'm gonna build the first few drafts of road with dirt roads over here, so that should be fine. And because we're building this all on flat terrain, we should have no problem building all of this. And generally speaking, with all I want to import, which is building resources and basically supplies for our city, I'm happy with this. This is very, very good. You could introduce a few more things like fuel and oil, but generally speaking, we're gonna do that via pipelines later. There's also the topic about trash disposal, so we could do this via train too. And generally speaking, I never do that, but you know what? Because a lot of professional players are watching, and I love my audience. Yes, had to be slimy, I apologize. I'm just gonna build one over here. A little bit more down the road. So try 3, this looks great enough to me, we can build it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna give this some space because, as I said later on, we will go into entire recycling industry, and for that to work, we'll need quite a bit of space. So I'm gonna give this quite a bit of space, meaning it will take a bit longer to build this entire railway network over here. But you know what? I'm just gonna take the risk. One last thing I'm gonna do now is build this over here, which is gonna be very, very, very important once we get electric railway, because this over here, the railway electric connection, basically is the way how to power all the electric railways. What you need to do, you need to summon the railway, build this, and then connect all the electric rails via this. We don't have electric rails yet, but to be fair, it is easier to upgrade regular rails to electric rails. Once you build them, then build both at the same time. So we're gonna build the normal ones now and then upgrade to electric later. And we're also gonna use electric trains for the beginning, but not yet. For now, we need to build all of this, and this is being built using fuel anyways. So this is gonna be our railway. To be fair, it will take some time to build it all, but you know what? I'd rather build a decent railway network right now that we can use until the end of the game, instead of having like a makeshift one that is gonna be very problematic. And I think building it open like this is easier for me to show off how it works than if I would build it very, very cramped. And I gotta say, I do build more cramped than some other channels would do, but I think it would be more realistic if the buildings generally be more cramped, because that's how we build in real life, very cramped. In my way, this is keeping some space for future industries that might need this infrastructure over here, plus already preparing an industry that we might build very soon, and on top of that, already having the heating plant ready to go next to bus station. I mean, what this all still needs, 100%, and new electric substation. And you know what? Normally, I would just be lazy and build another underground connection to here, but I think for the sake of having a more efficient energy network, I'm just gonna immediately build over here another power transformer for the future, maybe even on the edge here, basically the entrance of our railway, and hooking that up to our electricity network. Very good. And of course, don't forget, hook up this over here, and my recommendations, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but multiple connections here are actually not a bad idea, because once you get more trains involved in one railway network, it will drain more and more energy from your grid, and if your power line is the bottleneck, it is better to have 2 than 1. And yeah, I would say this is a huge building project now going on in the background, while we're already preparing the highway and faster exports. So yeah, more complicated chapter. I did jump more between everything, so I do apologize, but the hurtful truth of this game is that you need to do multiple things at once, which can be quite complicated. I mean, I do try to kinda streamline it, meaning I will build one thing and then talk about that, then the other thing, and then just build stuff in between, just jumping forward, so you're not too confused. But yeah, it's still necessary that we not waste too much time and actually get stuff done. And very good news, the oil prices are up again, so we will make more money. Generally would interest me, looking at economy trade, first thing, go at all, so you see your entire ins and outs over the entire game so far, and we made over 150,000 with oil. That is good. I mean, we are losing way more because we are having enormous building projects, but to be fair, those are all one time. Once it's built, and we only need to restore it like every 10 to 20 years. So this is a one-time investment for a very profitable venture. Plus, we are very much bottlenecked right now because we can't export more oil. This hurts. And because this will take a very long time, I'm actually gonna give in and do the thing I said I won't do, and use these 2 storages over here for our construction industry too. I know they are mainly meant for our railway construction and our repair station, but I gotta be honest, this traffic over here is the main reason we're losing out a lot of money, and reducing that is our main priority right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this distribution office over here. I mean, you know what? I'm also gonna build a second one by the same trucks. But before we deal with them, let me also adjust the second storage, because this storage actually is perfect right now. It basically stores all the construction goods. This one, not yet. It needs plastics, mechanical components, electrical components, electronics, and fabric, and the other one just needs electro components. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put everything to 0 we absolutely don't need, like alcohol, food, crops, chemicals, explosives, and for the rest, I'm gonna reduce the things that we don't need for construction industry, like fabric can stay here, oh, by the way, clothing also to 0, plastic can go a bit down, and electronics too. So we're gonna fill the storage, but we're gonna prioritize electro components and mechanic components. I call them mechanical components so far. I hope you can forgive me. So starting from now, our construction offices can use this storage and basically make traffic over here instead of here. Meaning that these distribution offices will load everything they can from over here and unload it in these two storages. And you might be confused, Florius, why are you not setting anything up? The answer is straightforward. I already limited what these storages can take in, so they will only get these things anyway. So I don't need to set anything up. Basically, in the long run, this will make a lot of distribution a lot easier for you, because if you set up the storages and then just generally send out as ore to get certain things, they will just get these things, and you don't need to micromanage area options. You just need to know where to load and where to unload. And if you look at the building, you know what is needed here. For your mental health, this is the better way. My own experience, trust me, or don't. It's on you. And I'm also gonna change the orders of this distribution office over here that we set up just for the railway so far. And here I'm gonna say just unload gravel in the construction office, because that's the one storage we don't have. And for everything else, I just selected the storages and they're gonna unload in that. Perfect. So these will all go out now, get goods. Our construction offices will now get steel from here, bricks from here, prefab panels from here, boards from here. And as for the other goods for mechanic components and electrical components from here, copy these to the other construction offices, and perfect. This will now be filled up with resources, and these trucks over here will be somewhere else. I mean, what I could also do is prioritize over here the construction of the gravel storage. Then we can start unloading gravel into here, meaning we have even less traffic over here. But for now, this should be good. Anyways, let's speed forward. Yeah, this is really bad. This is actually really bad, the traffic here. But with these storages filling up, I'm now gonna activate the orders to basically supply the repair station and the construction office, and very fastly explain this. It's really straightforward, by the way. You just click on these two storages and say load, and you click on the other two storages and say unload. Now these will drive out, bring the resources in, try to keep it at 100%. It is that straightforward. I also just noticed, very good, that the main railway is done. So I'm gonna immediately, as fast as possible, order these two to go into our railway construction office. This over here I would like to get rid of, but selling in this game is basically you pay money to get rid of it, okay? And I would say, for the sake of not caring too much about money right now, I'm just gonna do it. I mean, the ultimate way is to just put it into a storage and scrap it later, but I gotta be honest, this vehicle over here would just literally be in the way of my main construction vehicles, because it's way less efficient, and it would start certain construction orders that are really not a priority. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finally link this railway with the rest. I like this for now, because what you need to understand is that the long-term plan is to have double railway, so we can have multiple trains on different tracks without being in each other's way. But there is no connection to this parallel railway yet, because I don't want them to build yet. The main priority should be over here to finish those. So here come the chunkers, because they're just very chunky vehicles. And they will be our driving force of railway construction. I also did just notice that this over here did finish. So I'm gonna very quickly set up the traffic here and start the construction of something else that is very important to me, a bridge. Personally, those bridges here work absolutely fine, but for a highway, I like to do something a bit spicy, my own invention, which someone obviously already did, but I just haven't seen yet. I'm gonna elevate over here a little bit and do the same on the other side of the road, and thanks to a lot of free excavators, we can just easily do that. And we are going to build, I'm gonna use topographical map mode for that to see it better, a bridge. And now that we built the bridge like this, we can basically do this, and you might notice right there, yellow road, meaning that the terrain is too uneven for this to be built. I mean, the same thing exists for buildings, by the way. You can go here and you see it's yellow. The easy fix for that is that you just do this, hold it in the direction where you want to go, and hold right click. And if you have the right construction vehicles in range, this will basically just terraform the terrain to make this street more viable. So what I'm going to do this with the first street, I'm going to do this with the second street, and now that we got that out of the way, I'm just going to connect it down, and we both shall ignore how this looks like. Over here, basically the same, and I'm only building one street and then the other. It's kind of a stupid reason, because you can't really terraform anymore once you build a street next. Like, if I build this, it won't really let me terraform anymore, even though I'm holding right click now, because you might spot, if I go in a little bit closer, that we now have red dots showing we can't terraform this, because there's already a planned road here. So yeah, this is why I'm terraforming this side, then terraforming the other side, then build this side, and then build the other side, because they're in each other's way. Here they are. I hope the fast explanation kind of helped. Anyways, over here, we're gonna build a roundabout for this region. Something like this. Beautiful. And because I imagine this will be a main traffic junction, I'm just gonna make it bigger. So yeah, the highway is moving along. The distribution office is going forward. We have built some storages that kind of take in resources to kind of reduce the stress on our traffic over here, which doesn't really work. But once we kind of connect this here efficiently with the rest of everything, we should basically have an easy time just delivering everything over here. We're also close to finishing this destruction, so we are about to be able to kind of integrate this into that too. And it also makes me very happy. Not forgetting street signs, of course. And right now we really start to have one problem, and that is employment. Because the workers you get from over here only work for 8 hours, which seems fine until you noticed how short 8 hours are in this game. Basically, it takes 8 hours for our construction vehicle over here to reach the project site, meaning that once it's here, all of the workers are basically already done with the shift, and we need to wait for the next bus. This vehicle over here only waits for a few hours until it goes back. So we need a more steady supply line of workers, otherwise we will get no railway construction done. And I think the only real solution for that is to reduce our working projects for a while, meaning we have to wait for all of this to be done, and then we gotta waste some time and then let the workers just work on the railway for a little bit. As for the road over here, it is done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ignore this road access over here for a while and just connect this one over here to our highway project, flatten the terrain a bit over here. Once again, fast little trick, you can use the mouse wheel to make this bigger or smaller, and I'm using level terrain from the center because the average is kind of bad. From the center is by far the best because you're always moving away from your center, meaning you always have the same height. If you are average, it's good for making slopes basically, but if you want to flatten an area, from the middle is by far the best. And I'm doing this right now because I'm going to build a road through here, and once you build something or even just plan something, you can't terraform the area anymore. So we have to do this rather earlier than later. Very good. Over here, we've also finished the first few projects, including our now declared gravel storage. And I'm going to use these dumpers over here, which some of you told me are not the optimized version because they're quite slow. I think you recommended to me, I imagined this one for speed, but because with traffic anyways, I'm going to use this one for now. For future projects, I will totally listen to your advice here, but for now, I'm going to be stubborn and do it my way. And I'm going to order him directly to load up gravel and unload gravel over here and do that. Copy the orders to the others and go forth. Meaning that once we fill this a little bit up, I'm just going to use this as a gravel storage for our entire construction offices, meaning that we should reduce at least a little bit of traffic again. And our road cargo station is burning while we have no firefighters. Oh, this one will be way too late. Yeah, now they're going out, but this is dirt roads. They will never be there in time. Or actually, oh, there's not enough firefighters now in here. Oh, this is so bad. Most of the firefighters already stopped working the moment. Oh no. Actually, they got it under control. That was at over 90% already, but it's completely screwed up and needs to be restored now. I mean, this is way cheaper than actually building it again, right? But yeah, just saying why getting workers from the outside while having huge traffic problems, not fun. I think the main thing that will reduce traffic in the short term is the highway finishing and us exporting over here. But I gotta be honest, we probably have to do like a giant road project here like this. That will also basically take a while, but I believe. But yeah, I've reached like 2 hours again. I don't want to record over that I need to edit all of these reasons. So today we did prepare everything for our resource distribution over here. And we did build the vehicle repair station, which is also very important in the long run, plus some storages to kind of reduce traffic. On top of that, we also started to kind of going a little bit into Vienna with infrastructure and continued our highway to the other customs house, where we could even get more workers. So there's like even more reasons to get there. The only negative is that we're sitting on a lot of oil, and until we get this under control, will take a while because, you know, dream big, build very, very slow. This moment he turns around. Oh, what cunts. But yeah, the new players, I hope you learned something. The seasoned players, I hope you can teach me some more. And everyone in between, hello. And the last thing missing now, the time lapse. And for me to say goodbye.